to moderate injuries along with that in some other vehicles.
A second vehicle traveling the opposite direction with 2 adults and 2 children, ages 8 and 17, hit a guardrail. They're all okay, according to Washington State Patrol, but first responders had to airlift Ingram's boyfriend to the hospital for serious injuries.
In my career here, we've had several that have come down. This is just an unfortunate reminder each and every year.
The crash happened just ahead of an atmospheric river taking aim at western Washington. Forecasters expect widespread wind gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, along with heavy rainfall. That could mean more fallen trees, plus landslides and flooding.
This one's a pretty significant one.
The Snoqualmie River at Carnation is projected to reach 59 feet by Tuesday. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration classifies that as major flooding, which would inundate farms and roads. The last time that happened was in 2023, but this event could be worse.
Our boats are ready to go. Our swimmers, all of our gear's been checked. We're ready for what's to come.
Ingram's family described her as a devoted mother, daughter, sister, and friend. In a statement, her sister said, Emma always offered her support to anyone in need and gave her 2 children boundless, unconditional love. She leaves behind a 16-year-old son and 18-year-old daughter.
And again, that was Christian Balderas reporting. We now want to turn to our forecast. And again, we're going to be dealing with not only, of course, just a lot of moisture, but we also have to deal with the chill that comes along with it. We do have snowflakes in the forecast coming up later on this afternoon. Let's talk about what is going to get us there. We've got to get our air temperatures down if we want to see any sort of flakes. And here's what is going to be happening over the next several days. It's really today into tomorrow where we'll have our best opportunity for snow. We could potentially see snow coming up with our next system, but that's a ways out. We'll focus on what we've got currently, and that is, again, that cold air dipping down. There you see, again, a secondary blast of cold, but unfortunately our pause points did not reach us. So let's get back to the rain and the snow that currently is stretching across Kentucky, West Virginia, and North Carolina. Right now, the bulk of the moisture is still sitting further back towards the west, but you can see eastern North Carolina kind of just, my wife would send me a picture of this and say, see, we're stuck in a bubble. We are stuck in a bubble. But not to worry, there will be moisture rolling across the east coming up later on today. And the question is, what form will that moisture take? At this point, it does look like we are going to be seeing, again, some snowflakes come down, but it's not going to be widespread. I do think everyone has a shot at maybe seeing a few flakes, but I think most of those of you watching south of New Bern will have a tougher time getting those raindrops to transition over into potential snowflakes. Let's talk about, again, timing on this system. While we will have rain throughout the middle of the day and into the early afternoon, should be fairly light showers. And then by the time we get to around 3 o'clock, we start to see around Halifax, Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson, Northampton, Hertford, possibly Bertie and northwestern Martin counties, started to see a rain-snow transition, a little bit of some chunky rain trying to come down at that point. Then that transition line starts to drift a little bit further south, encompassing areas around Wayne, Lenoir, Pitt, Beaufort, Washington, most of Martin, starting to see Chowan County, Pasquotank, Perquimans, Currituck still out on the edge there. Currituck, you guys are probably going to be seeing some flakes, I would say around midnight coming up early tomorrow morning. But by 11, the flakes really start to taper off. But this is when that chill, that sub 32 degree air will finally reach down towards the Crystal Coast. And that's when Onslow County, Pender County, possibly Carteret, Southern Craven, this is when you guys are looking at that possibility of some snowflakes mixing in with those raindrops. Now, we're not looking at a whole lot of rain into Tuesday, or I should say moisture into Tuesday. As we wake up, it will still be cold, though. 24 degrees overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So anything that sticks or anything that lands on the ground, whether it's snow or ice or just water, it will freeze again. It will refreeze and create some very slick and hazardous conditions. So Tuesday morning, while nothing is going to be coming down over eastern North Carolina in terms of precipitation, it is still going to be dangerous by this point because of refreezing on the roads, particularly bridges. That's where we see the slickest spots or the highest likelihood of freezing water on the roads. As we make our way into Wednesday, we should warm up a bit. A lot of the heat that we see through, well, heat, above freezing air temperatures that we see coming up tomorrow will help, again, reduce that risk of freezing and slick conditions on the roads coming up for Wednesday morning. So here's what we've got. Rain to snow is the name of the game for today. It's that transition point that will be occurring in the afternoon and evening that will take us from a wet and dreary forecast and possibly turn it into something at least a little bit more entertaining for the kids. But again, Tuesday morning, that's when I think we're going to be seeing the best opportunity for slick spots on the road. If you are doing any driving later on this evening north of Highway 264, we're talking around 9 p.m. and later, understand the conditions are going to be rough by that point. I think we'll really start to see road conditions really deteriorate between around, well, I don't want to overhype this too much because, again, I don't think we're going to be looking at, widespread sticking on the roads, but things will start to get bad, or things will start to get worse. There we go. Things will start to get worse coming up 5 p.m. to around 9 p.m. and then 9 p.m. on. Again, we'll see a higher likelihood of sticking to things, whether that's grassy surfaces. We may see again across portions of Bertie County, northern communities, seeing again maybe an opportunity for a little bit of sticking on the roads, but with all the rain showers coming down, any well-traveled roads will kind of keep a lot of that potential accumulation from getting too high. Accumulation highs, like we're looking at a coating of maybe 2 inches at most. Now, Joshua Armstrong, do you think Farmville, Pitt County will see accumulation? Joshua, yes, but on the grassy surfaces, elevated surfaces, on the roads, unlikely until maybe we get to around 11 p.m. at midnight. By that point, if we do still have moisture coming in, then I do think that will start to stick. But let's talk about, again, what we've got beyond, of course, just what we're looking at for tonight. We've got to look at air temperatures currently because we're not going to get anything to stick to the ground if ground temperatures stay above freezing. And if air temperatures stay above freezing, then the ground has no reason to cool off. Right now, most of us are looking at air temperatures in the mid-30s to mid-40s. Those of you watching along the immediate coast, enjoy the upper 40s to low 50s. Certainly a little bit warmer as you get closer to the water. That is normal for this time of year. But those of you along the coast, understand your air temperatures will be coming down today. Now, highs, normal highs this time of year, generally in the upper 50s. We're going to be a little bit shy of that mark today as the northeasterly breeze is going to be bringing in that cold air from start to finish. Now, the cold air will really, again, roll in once we get past, I would say, 3 p.m. That's when the temperatures really start to dive. And by that point, again, we are looking at rain showers coming down. And that means as temperatures dive, we see that transition over into snowflakes. I think that'll start between 3, 4, or 5 p.m. By 5, some of those flakes may start to accumulate in some of our northern counties on the grounds. You may see a little slushiness on the road by the time we get to around 7 p.m. in northern Bertie County. But again, most of eastern North Carolina's roads should be okay. But I do want to let you guys know that the farther north you go, the more likely it is for you to run into those hazardous road conditions. I know DOT crews have seen this coming. They've heard the forecast. They are going to be out treating those roads when the time is right. But for right now, if we can just all approach this with some caution, then hopefully it makes the DOT's job easier, and it keeps first responders from having to respond to avoidable accidents. Later on this evening, we drop below freezing between around 6, 7, and 8 p.m. From there, we'll hold in the low 30s, but cold enough, again, to force those ground temperatures down a little bit more. Here's a look at how it all comes together. The secondary system, that high-pressure system, will push its way across the east, and then later on, coming up over the weekend, we may end up seeing another round of cold air and potentially some moisture try to mix together. That will now looks like it coming in Monday into Tuesday of next week. A little bit too far out to give you guys a good idea of whether or not we could have 2 potential snow rounds on our 8-day forecast. Right now, it just looks like 1, and even then, this isn't going to be something you need to get the sled out for. Snow cream, maybe, especially if you're north of 264, but yeah, I'm not getting my sled out. It's one that I wish I could, but I know that the amount of snow just is going to depress me if I get up into the attic, go through all that work to finally get the sleds down. Anyways, here's what we've got over the next 8 days. 41 degrees coming up for tomorrow. Overnight lows back down below freezing Tuesday night into Wednesday, but not nearly as cold as what we're going to be experiencing later on tonight in the mid-20s. We'll warm up a little bit more Wednesday into Thursday, getting back in the low to mid-50s. We'll hold in the low 50s on Friday and then back into the mid to upper 40s over the weekend. However, it does come with sunny, dry weather, even though it does bring a bit of a chill back to the east. Well, that's all we have time for today's 9 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. We'll have more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your Monday. Of course, we will keep a close eye on this evolving snowfall forecast and let you know what where the hazards lie as we make our way through today. You can stay up to date with that forecast right here on the First Alert Desk coming up, well, in just under an hour. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic day. We'll see you back here coming up at 10.